Back AAU Overtime Podcast, and joining me today is the University of Tampa women's ice hockey head coach Lee Zerfass. Lee, thanks for joining the podcast and welcome.
Jordan, it's always a pleasure. How are you today?
Good, doing all right. Sorry for the last minute, trying to get you on. I know I actually yesterday, but usually do the show Wednesday, Thursday. But happy you were able to join on a Friday. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, it's a great opportunity, and we got some live hockey this weekend, so it's a perfect way to ramp up into the weekend.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the weekend, talk about the women's hockey team you got going on at Tampa. Before we get into that, let's talk about you a little bit, Lee. What got you your start in hockey, whether it be a coach or a player or behind the scenes?
Oh, I started playing as a kid, and the rink was always my safe spot. So through high school, travel, I played a couple of years of college, and it was just, it was a great opportunity for me. So I really appreciate the fact that I was able to continue things, and after having kids, started getting into the coaching modes. The kids discovered hockey, and and it's been love ever since.
You said you played college hockey. Where'd you wind up going to?
Drake University. So that was that was club hockey, and back in the day, I mean, it was great because we played teams like Northwestern, Loyola, Iowa State, South Dakota, geez, Dordt College. I remember them, Mankato, and so yeah, it was a lot of just running around and having a good time.
A lot of good experience, I'm sure, playing college hockey there. Was coaching something or like the operation behind the scenes something you always had interested, or did that come late to you in your playing career?
Well, it's funny. I'll credit that to a friend of mine, Ryan Dolsky. My kids started growing up in the soccer through the Y, and I was one of the few parents sitting on the sidelines actually watching them practice. And so he's like, where are you doing? I'm like, I'm watching. And he's like, you ever played soccer? I'm like, yeah, as a kid. And he's like, get out here then, and that was about 11, 12 years ago. And and it just started. I had no idea what was actually involved with the youth hockey. And um, my daughter got involved, and she was the first. And innocently enough, I started at the rink, as all dads do that want to be involved with their kids. Yeah, you need help on the ice, I can I can help you. I can, all right, I can give you a couple pointers. I'm a dad. I know what I'm doing. And fast forward 10 years, that's been, 10 years of year-round hockey. So I don't know, how many hundreds of seasons and thousands of games in the house level, travel level, and high school hockey. And now I've had the fortune of, seeing all this thing come together for, University of Tampa. So it was great because 5 years ago, we were still fighting, with the organization we've got down here, the Florida Alliance. I coached the 10U and the 12U programs for the Tier 1 and Tier 2 programs. And, 6 years ago when we had our first tryouts, we had 25 girls try out. And, now we've got about 150 alone in just our program. And that's how much it's grown. And the biggest disparity for me always was with the 19-2 teams. You didn't make the D1 cut. You're not playing Tier 1, and you've invested your whole life basically at that point trying to get to that next level. And when the reality hits, it's a tough pill to swallow. And I'd always talk to the girls about the experiences I had with club hockey. And I had a blast. It was great temperament between hockey and school, or I should say, really the other way around. Education first, and then hockey second. And for me, it was perfect. I wasn't ever that competitive in nature to strive for D1 or D3 for that matter.
It's great to give these girls another new outlet. And like you said, 24 to what, 100 plus now. So a lot of girls are starting to see that opportunity now grow. It's not just like D1 and then that's about it. But it's pretty interesting though. It's like started with soccer coaching. It's funny how everyone gets their start in weird ways,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jordan, I mean, it's been, now, we're I've got my staff of the house league. I'm a youth director. So I went from being a volunteer dad to a youth director, and I started the program. It's the same thing. We had 35 kids in the program. It was parents were holding the program together by a shoestring. And fast forward 2 years later, again, 170, 180 kids in the program. We started a development program under the Cyclones, the Clearwater Cyclones, which is like a rec select type program. So for the kids that, for whatever reason, don't want to go into travel, aren't ready for travel, it's a good way to, kind of have that experience without the loss of that camaraderie, that goes along with it. So I never thought I'd be doing this. I never thought 10 years later I'd be this involved with it. And I'm a better person. I'm very humbled. It's, when you've got people calling you coach for 10 years, the humility that kind of goes along with that is, you don't realize how much we actually impact the youth. And you don't hear about all the kids you impacted, and that's the thing that I tell the coaches is that, you're going to change somebody's lives, and it's going to be for the better because you actually cared, you reached out and wanted to be a part of it. And I think that's true for our coaching staff in general, and kind of, the hours that go in, because it's certainly not the pay that, keeps us coming back.
Yeah, just the passion for what you're doing, the sport as well. And you mentioned there, I was going to talk about the Clearwater Cyclones program. That was a big part in getting you now into University of Tampa behind the bench with the women's program.
Yeah. It kind of all kind of came together. Casey, who's the president of the team, she was involved with gymnastics and heavily, and then one day she just decided she wanted to be a hockey player. So, let's see here. Then I was with the Tampa Bay Lightning. We were starting to, get the girls' programs up and going on the community outreach level. We started an EDP and elite development program for the girls. And Casey shows up, and she natural athlete, had never really skated before. Her dad and her used to go to Lightning games together, and so while we were practicing with everybody else, I was in a corner with her, trying to two-step and teach her how to ice skate. And and fast forward, God, 8-9 years later, I never thought I'd be kind of working for her, with coaching the program. So it's pretty cool.
So that's how that journey throughout that 8 years, that what's brought you now to Tampa at the women's head coaching job.
Yeah. So I mean that it was accumulation of really everything. All the worlds kind of collided, and I've been advocating for women's hockey, girls hockey for over 10 years now. And I've seen the best and I've seen the worst of it. And it's to cut your teeth. I mean, we started the Alliance program and the Cyclones program so that girls could have a home and they wouldn't have to leave the state of Florida to play. And to give them that competitive spirit, if you will, the competitive level. And we've successfully, I think, addressed that. And now with the College Hockey South and AAU, I mean, who would ever thought you'd have a conference in the South for women's hockey? First and foremost, and now what it's going to do is it's opening up all these doors for young women that think that career, that their hockey is over, and in reality, it's just a continuation at this point. And we've got an incredible academic program at UT, and it's really cool, So we practice out of the same rinks my kids are in the Cyclones, meaning the house program, and to have the UT girls out with our youth kids, to be role models and to be out on the ice with them, they're now role models. And so at 2018, I've got a couple graduate students, so 25, 26. These are all girls that benefited from the program that are now, giving back. And it's always cool because I show up and, there's a half dozen girls just waiting to help. And I don't solicit it. It's just, I tell them it's available. And I'm amazed at how willing they are to wanting to give back.
You said you guys practice out of the same rink at the you said Cyclones program, is that?
Mm-hmm.
So you got those young girls that are coming up, seeing these girls now at Tampa, saying like, okay, now there's an outlet. There's more opportunity for us if we stick with this down the line.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's exactly, they now have somebody to look up to because, it's one thing, if you go to Beantown, for instance, everybody that's grown up in girls hockey knows Beantown. Um, and if you haven't and you're from the South or, the Florida market itself, when you go up there to see thousands of girls playing hockey and the New England Sports Complex where it's typically held with the rinks around there, it's in the middle of summer. We've got fire ants, so you're going to be walking around in the grass, right? But you go outside the rink and you got gear hanging from trees airing out. You've got ponytails running all over the place, just having a blast, and there's inclusion there. Everyone's having a good time. And so to carry that forward into the college side, um, you've got those girls now that are continuing to play, and then when they're on the ice with the small kids circling back, they now have a role model, and they can now start to taste what that future is.
Yeah.
We're cutting our teeth every day down here.
It's women's hockey is getting it's getting a nice movement, good push, and college hockey South is one conference that's starting that push. And in college hockey South right now, your team, the U Tampa group, currently undefeated. How's the team been looking? What have you liked so far in their inaugural season in the CHS?
What do I've told a couple of the coaches that we're in the league with that I was dealt pocket aces. All the girls on our team were already at University of Tampa, and they came from up north. They wanted sunshine and a good education. They were sick of the winters, presumably. And so they wind up in the University of Tampa, and they can go to the beach, and then 20 minutes later they're strapping on gear, and we're having a good time out on the ice.
Yeah, more times than not during hockey season, you go to the cold rink, you come out to the cold weather. Down there, you go to the cold rink, you're going out to like 70-degree weather, 60-degree weather.
80 degrees, 90 degrees, it's just,
Yeah, at worst, 60, 70 degrees. At worst, yeah.
I feel sorry for the parents that got sucked into soccer and lacrosse. It's 115 degrees down there, and
Yeah.
I don't have that
summer.
problem, right?
Yep. Yeah, but we'll take during I'm on Long Island, we'll take 60 degrees during hockey season winter. No, that's cold for you guys down there, 60, 70 degrees.
Oh, that's it's fortunate because I think if all we have to do is offer a tournament in January, and we should have the whole the New York conference down here in two heartbeats to join us, right?
Yeah, you don't have to ask them twice. Like January, go down to Florida. They'll take that 9 times out of 10.
Right? Yeah,
yep.
The golf is about a pleasant 75 degrees.
Yeah, exactly. That's like 105 for us in January. But to you, again, that's cold. That's like 75. We got to put a sweatshirt on. I'll walk around in shorts,
sweaters, blankets. Yeah. We're huddling, and
you're bundled up.
Yeah, we're lighting park benches on fire.
Exactly. So your U Tampa group, first year, any goals you guys envision? Maybe not in terms of like what's won a championship this year, maybe just in terms of the program overall, outside of obviously let's win a national championship this year.
Yeah, well, I mean that's first and foremost. It's again, the pocket aces. Everybody on the team has played. Okay, I mean it's some of the other programs they've got. Girls that have expressed an interest in hockey, and they've made accommodations for it as any of us will. We're all in it together. It's when we had our little conference meet in Columbus, Georgia. All the coaches got together. This is what we have. This is what we're trying to do. This is where we're going, and we've been very, very lucky. We got our eyes set on it. The hardest thing for me is keeping the girls focused, and obviously sticking to our game plan that, we got to be sharp and we got to be ready. We've got to get through our conference, and then, are we expecting to go to the nationals? Well, we're going to have to work hard to make sure we get there.
And this weekend, you teased it a little bit before we got going here, but you guys kick off back with games against Miami, I believe, this weekend, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's the first time we've been up against them, so I don't know what to expect, and we're preparing for an awesome weekend of hockey. It's great. We started out and we didn't have a whole lot of continuity because we had just a lot of gifted players. And, now things are starting to gel. We've got our lines straightened out, and kind of that rust of not playing for a little bit is gone. They're better conditioned. They're hockey ready. The hockey IQ, it's growing week over week. We're starting getting into our systems now of our game development, and and so it's really good. So I can't wait to see what we've got in store for tonight and tomorrow night, and and at that point we're already 3/4 of the way through our season.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's just as quickly as it starts up the season is just how quickly it goes by. Me being a former player, it's crazy how quickly it just shoots by. So I guess for the girls, tell them enjoy it, every game, every second,
That's it. That's it. And that's what it is that, all the girls on the team have expressed the gratitude of they thought they were done playing, and that's the reality of it is that, we don't have juniors. We don't have, without the exception of what there was with the NCAA, with D1, D3, the ACHA, in the South, there weren't options, and when you've got Florida prepaid and things like that, where you've got college assistants and you've been say, for my daughter, we've been saving for 16 years for her to go to school, and to have that available now is it's the best of all worlds. It allows them to continue to still play so that they're not hanging up, and then they can give back. And it's like my daughter and some of the other girls are now getting into the coaching side of it, and we're starting to see that second generation of the giving back part of it, and because for us down here it's still new, in the South it's still new in general.
Yeah, that's how I was gonna wrap it up, but with this question, but you kind of touched upon it just there and previously, what you envision in the future for not just women's hockey, but in for U Tampa's women's program specifically, but just that passing it down mindset. The players now becoming coaches, the players now being seen by a younger generation at the same rink, and that younger generation seeing opportunity down the road.
Oh, for sure. That's really what it's all about. We have a common goal. It's been great because the competitive side is certainly there. You still have that, we want to win attitude. And at the same time, there's a lot of nurturing going on because we know that, if we don't do this the right way, there's a good chance that it could go away. So we're all very sensitive to the fact that we all have a job to do, and a commitment to the program, a commitment to the university, a commitment to College Hockey South, so that other programs can see that it's successful, and for women's hockey in general to give more girls a chance to continue playing, and you see the talent, it's all over the place, but there's not enough school. It's staggering, the statistics of the girls that played high school hockey that go on to play college hockey. It's like 1 in 24 is from like 2020, a stat I saw. And that's really a shame because you spent 10, 12 years, dealing with the stink of hockey, going 14 hours in a car with, people you don't even know half the time to get to a rink to play the game, and then the rug gets pulled out from underneath you, and you're hit with the reality of, God, I'm 18, I got to go to college now, or, I got to move on with my life, and hockey's ended, and at least this aspect of it, it's continuation. And with the AAU, it's incredible because, you're eligible for 7 years. And so, to have our grad students, playing is it's unique. And I think that's something that, as a whole, that the hockey community for women's sports specifically, and arguably the men's sport, the men's side of it, to show that there are continued opportunities that you can still have that love of the game, still compete, and still get the education you're looking for. It's a win-win now.
So the University of Tampa women's ice hockey coach, Lee Zerfass, I appreciate the time. A lot of good stuff. Thank you. I appreciate the you coming again, short notice, and all the information. Good luck, everyone. Keep an eye out for U Tampa against Miami this weekend, Lee.
Jordan, thank you so much. Cheers till next time, man. I really appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for all you do.
No problem. Yep, and I'll hopefully see you down at the national tournament come March when you bring your squad up there. Yep,
Yeah,
that's the end
certainly
game.
our goal. All right.
All right. So once again, alongside Lee Zerfass, the University of Tampa women's ice hockey head coach, my name is Jordan DeLuciano for the AAU Overtime Podcast. Thank you all for joining us. Again, thank you to Lee, and we will see you all next week.